two harbingers of doom.
Hey, welcome back to ScreenCrush. I'm Ryan Airy, and here is everything you need to know before watching Agatha all along. The MCU has hours and hours of stories at this point, so even if you're a hardcore fan of the franchise, you might need a refresher on everything that's happened up to this point. So we're going to speed run through the history of the MCU, but first I want to announce that we are going on the road for our first ever ScreenCrush live show tour with interviews, geek talk, and special guests. The links for cities, dates, and tickets is below. So let's start at the beginning. After the Big Bang of the universe, 6 special stones were created that were the embodiment of different facets of the universe: power, space, time, soul, reality, and mind. Now, all of these gems have different powers, but they are also connected to each other in some subtle ways that we're going to talk about later. After the Big Bang, these giant gods called the Celestials continuously stave off the destruction of the universe by creating suns, galaxies, and planets. This sets the Celestials at odds with the forces of entropy, like the chaos god Chthon. Chthon essentially wants to revert the universe back into darkness and spread that same darkness across the multiverse, but more on him in a bit. The Celestials take control of the Infinity Stones and then use them to purge the populations of certain planets to protect their own seeds that they have implanted inside various worlds. Now, over the next few billion years, the Infinity Stones are scattered across different galaxies, but a backwater planet called Earth seems to become a kind of nexus for many of these stones. Around the year 500, Odin, the king of Asgard, hides one of these stones on Earth, and at some point the sorcerer Cagliostro obtained the Time Stone, then he hid it within an object called the Eye of Agamotto. This stone was entrusted to the sorcerers of Karmartage for protection.
Karma, do you say what now? You mean karma, like karma chameleon?
No. The sorcerers of Karmartage defend the Earth from threats from other dimensions. They do this by accessing energy from other dimensions and then shaping it into different forms. This is the MCU version of magic. Now, hundreds of years ago, a sorcerer called the Ancient One actually learned to pull in dark energy from the dark dimension that's controlled by a super evil entity called Dormammu. This gave the Ancient One long-lasting life, but meant that she always had a little bit of this darkness inside herself. Now, Karmartage is also a place where powerful books of spells are kept. The Book of Cagliostro, or the Book of Time, is there, and for a little while, the Darkhold was there too. So fast forward to the year 1693 to the Salem witch trials. Now, in the real world, these trials are a human tragedy where innocent girls were murdered by their community for no reason.
Bummer.
But in the MCU, it turns out that the Salem witch trials were actually conducted by the witches themselves. So this coven discovers that one of their members, Agatha Harkness, has been using forbidden magic.
You have betrayed your coven. You practice the darkest of magic.
Agatha has found the Darkhold. Now, the Darkhold is tied to the essence of the chaos god Chthon, who I talked about earlier. So when you use the book, it eventually starts to corrupt you and you serve the will of Chthon. Agatha is about to be killed by her own coven, but then she turns their powers against them, absorbing their life force and their energy and their powers. So this begins her centuries-long quest to steal magic from other witches to prolong her own life and grant herself more power.
Hey, you want to grab some lunch?
You know what? I'm good. I'm just going to casually take swigs from this giant bottle of Worcestershire sauce.
You having a lot of regrets now?
Many. I really drank that.
Yeah, geez, person, that's disgusting. And I'm a dog. I've eaten a lot of stuff that I'm not proud of, like Arby's.
I know I have to start eating better, Doug, but I hate cooking. And I'm always too busy to eat nutritious food during the day. But lucky for me, I have an even better option, like this delicious, nutritious meal from Factor. They're the sponsor of this video. Guys, this is a creamy pesto pork chop with spinach, cauliflower rice, and roasted green beans. You see, Factor meals are chef-crafted and dietitian approved. They're served always fresh, never frozen, and they are ready in just 2 minutes. Plus, it's only around 550 calories per serving, and it is delicious. So I've been using Factor for about 2 years now, and I cannot believe how much it has improved my life. On like super busy days, like today when we're dropping Easter egg videos, I can't find the time to make healthy food, and so I always end up snacking and then gaining extra weight because I'm eating crap, just until I don't feel hungry anymore. But now I have tons of energy throughout the entire day because I'm eating healthier. And I just have to re-emphasize, cooking is a pain in the butt and I'm not very good at it. But Factor meals take the stress out of eating healthy. 2 minutes, no prep, no mess. Factor offers 35 different meals and more than 60 add-ons to choose from every week. So I'm always able to try something new that I would have never tried before. And now they offer tons of snack options like breakfast smoothies, juices, small bites, plus it is way cheaper than takeout food. Factor is also flexible. You can change up your order every week with plans from 4 to 18 meals per week, or you can pause or reschedule your deliveries anytime. So I highly recommend you head to factor75.com or click the link below and use the code ScreenCrush50 to get 50% off your first Factor box and 20% off your next box. That's code ScreenCrush50 at factor75.com to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next box of orders. Now, back to what I was saying. So let's fast forward to 1942 at the height of World War II. A superhero superhuman named Johann Schmidt, aka the Red Skull, is leading the Nazis' occult science division, Hydra. He discovers the Space Stone, then uses it to make advanced weaponry. He planned to drop Hydra bombs on every major city in the world, but he was stopped by another super soldier, Captain America.
I can do this all day.
Steve Rogers was tragically lost in the Arctic and presumed dead, while the Tesseract was recovered by Howard Stark, a super genius and co-founder of the spy agency called S.H.I.E.L.D. Now, years later, Hydra survived as a secret organization within S.H.I.E.L.D., and then they ordered the assassination of Howard Stark. And get this, the assassination was carried out by Steve Rogers' best friend, a brainwashed super soldier named Bucky. So this led to Howard's son Tony becoming aimless in his life as he manufactured weapons for profit and lived the life of a playboy. Cut to the war-torn country of Sokovia. The Maximoff family is about to settle in to watch some DVDs of American sitcoms together. The twin children, Pietro and Wanda, love American television.
Dick Van Dyke again? Always sitcom, sitcom, sitcom.
But in the middle of the show, a Stark Industries bomb drops on their apartment. It kills their parents, but Wanda is able to tap into her dormant magic abilities and turn off the bomb. Years later, Tony has what alcoholics call
a moment of clarity.
And he stops building weapons for the military so he can make a single really fun weapon for himself. He becomes the superhero Iron Man. Meanwhile, Odin briefly exiles his son Thor to Earth, where he's helped by scientist Jane Foster and her intern, Darcy. A couple years later, Thor, Iron Man, Captain America teamed up with the Hulk, Black Widow, and Hawkeye to stop Thor's brother Loki from conquering Earth, which it turns out he was going to do with the Mind Stone, another Infinity Stone.
But how to get the Mind Stone?
Well, it was given him by a powerful space dictator called Thanos, and Thanos is trying to get all 6 Infinity Stones so he can wipe out half the universe. For centuries, Thanos has committed genocide on different worlds, slaughtering half the populations, and he has this religious cult following around him. Thanos' daughter Gamora leaves him and then forms a team called the Guardians of the Galaxy, who stop Thanos' proxy Ronan and have various found family adventures in space. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Steve Rogers finds out that Hydra is still around and that Bucky is alive. He brings down Hydra and S.H.I.E.L.D. and then helps form a more official team of Avengers. But one Hydra cell is holed up in a castle in Sokovia. They've taken Loki's scepter, containing the Mind Stone, and they're using it to experiment on the grown-up Maximoff twins. Now, the twins blame Tony Stark and the Avengers for their parents' deaths, so they volunteer for these experiments to give themselves enhanced powers. Pietro gets the ability to run really fast, which seems influenced by the abilities of the Space Stone. And this is what I meant earlier when I said it seemed like these stones had powers that were connected to each other. And when Wanda is exposed to the stone, she sees a vision of herself in the future, and then suddenly she gets the abilities of many stones: telepathy, time travel, and reality manipulation. And then the Avengers bust up the Hydra cell, but Wanda shows Tony a vision of the Avengers failing to stop Thanos' invasion, and then afterwards he blames himself. This leads to Tony using the Mind Stone to create an evil AI called Ultron, who rebels and recruits the Maximoff twins to help him take down the Avengers. Ultron's plan is to make a new body for himself that is part vibranium and organic tissue, and this new body will be held together by the power of the Mind Stone. So the twins discover Ultron's evil plan to end the world, and they rebel against him and join the Avengers. But then Tony gets the idea to take that empty-headed body that Ultron made and to upload the consciousness of his AI Jarvis. Thor also thinks this is a great idea because he had a vision of the Infinity Stones where he saw a glimpse of the android with the Mind Stone in his head. And thus, the Vision was born.
That was odd.
The Avengers, old and new, team up to stop Ultron, but Pietro is gunned down and killed. Afterwards, Captain America reforms the team with Wanda and Vision as permanent members. Now, she struggles to deal with her brother's death, but the Vision helps her through it.
But what is grief, if not love persevering?
Son of a bitch, what a line. And I want to let you guys know about new merch we have for sale at our merch store. We, of course, have the Downey Doom, the ooh, I'm about to make a name for myself, and somehow Robert Downey Jr. returned. Guys, thanks for supporting us by shopping our merch store. The links for those shirts and more are below. So later, on an Avengers mission in Lagos, Wanda loses control of her powers and innocent people die. Now, she blames herself, and you know what? So does the government. So this prompts Secretary of State Thunderbolt Ross to spearhead the Sokovia Accords. This is an agreement signed by many countries that would deputize the world's superheroes into a government-controlled fighting force. Tony, reeling with guilt over Ultron and the destruction of Sokovia, supports the Accords while Captain America does not. And Wanda is a major point of contention between them, after Steve finds out that Tony has placed her under house arrest.
She's a kid. Give me a break.
Heroes choose sides, with Wanda and Vision fighting against one another, and ultimately Cap's team is mostly captured. But the Avengers officially break up when Tony finds out that Bucky killed his parents. Steve breaks his team out of jail, and they go on the run for 2 years. Meanwhile, a brilliant surgeon named Stephen Strange gets in a car accident that destroys his hands and takes away his purpose for living. He takes this hard, losing his fortune, and eventually travels to Karmartaj to study magic with the Ancient One. Strange catches on very quickly and even uses the Time Stone in the Book of Cagliostro to manipulate time.
You want to get stuck reliving the same moment over and over forever, or never having existed at all?
The Ancient One dies, leaving Stephen with this passing wisdom.
It's not about you.
So Stephen then sacrifices himself, many times, to defeat Dormammu. He settles into the Sanctum Sanctorum in Greenwich Village, protecting reality but severing ties with the woman he loves, Christine. So over the next couple years, Wanda and Vision keep sneaking off together and they start to fall in love.
I just feel you.
Also during this time, a superhero named Scott Lang is placed under house arrest for his involvement in the Civil War. His FBI handler is Agent Jimmy Woo. Remember him for later. Then Thanos' forces show up on Earth looking for Infinity Stones. The Avengers meet the Guardians of the Galaxy. You were there, you know what happened. So Thanos then gets every stone except the Mind Stone, so he comes to Earth to take it from Vision's head.
Vision's head.
The Avengers plan for Wanda to destroy the Mind Stone, but first they want to take Vision to the super advanced nation of Wakanda so they can remove the stone safely from his forehead.
As soon as that stone's out of his head, you blow it to hell.
After Thanos arrives on the planet, he closes in on the Vision, and Wanda makes this choice to sacrifice the man she loves.
It's all right. You could never hurt me.
But then, Thanos shows up, reverses time, and brings the Vision back to life, only to kill him a second later. Then Thanos snaps his fingers, and half the universe, including Wanda, are dusted away. 5 years later, the Avengers get back together and use time travel to reassemble the stones, bringing them from different realities, and they bring back everybody who was snapped. Wanda gets a really cool revenge moment against Thanos.
You took everything from me.
I don't even know who you are.
You will.
And then Tony Stark sacrifices his life to stop Thanos, but Wanda is still grieving Vision, because, unlike everybody who was dusted away, Vision cannot be brought back to life. So during the 5-year blip, Vision's body was confiscated by a government agency called SWORD. Now normally SWORD specializes in space defense, but since the blip they've been stuck on Earthbound missions. Their director, Tyler Hayward, tells Wanda that they're destroying Vision's body as per his wishes.
But I cannot allow you to take $3 billion worth of vibranium just to put it in the ground.
Wanda, distraught, goes to a plot of land that Vision bought for them in a town called Westview, New Jersey. In her grief, she loses control of her powers and they spread outwards, transforming Westview into a sitcom world, like the shows that she loved as a kid. And the portion of the Mind Stone that lived within her forms a new version of the Vision that she can be married to.
Wanda, welcome home.
Agatha Harkness senses this incredibly powerful magic used to transform reality. So she shows up disguised as a nosy neighbor named Agnes.
Hiya, hun.
Now at first, Wanda and Vision don't seem to remember anything about their life before this transformation.
No, there on the calendar. Someone's drawn a little heart right above today's date.
But slowly, the people of Westview let their true personalities seep through, and we can see that they are afraid.
Stop it. Stop.
Now that was a Westview townsperson named Sharon Davis begging Wanda to stop her husband from choking to death, and Vision does eventually save his life. Remember Sharon because she's going to be in Agatha all along. So outside of town, Jimmy Woo of the FBI becomes aware that there is something strange going on with Westview.
Would you mind repeating your claim about Westview to my colleague here?
No such place.
A SWORD agent named Monica Rambeau, who was actually childhood friends with the superhero Captain Marvel, investigates and is pulled into the barrier that is surrounding Westview. So SWORD sets up a perimeter around the town, recruiting help from Darcy, who discovers the TV signals broadcasting Wanda's show.
Entwined was a broadcast frequency, so I had your goons pick me up a sweet vintage TV, and when I plugged this bad boy in, voila.
Agatha continues to manipulate Wanda, testing the boundaries of her reality-altering magic. She almost exposes Wanda and Vision's powers at a town magic show, for example. And she also implies that Wanda should have kids.
Dottie is the key to everything in this town. Country club memberships, parties, school admissions.
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Until finally, Wanda becomes pregnant as her sitcom reality turns to color. SWORD sends in an agent who becomes a beekeeper. Not the beast! And then Wanda continuously reasserts control over this reality.
No.
Her sitcom realities continue to evolve into a version from the 1970s. Then Agatha manipulates the Vision into realizing that something is wrong in Westview.
She came here because we're all what? What are you trying to tell me?
Then Wanda, with help from Monica, gives birth to twins. Agatha is stunned that Wanda has the ability to spontaneously create life. But then Monica regains her memories.
He was killed by Ultron.
And then Wanda expels her from the Hex. But Agatha also shows Wanda a flash of the Vision being dead. This makes her double down on her sitcom reality as we transition into the 1980s. Wanda and Vision are having trouble raising their babies. And Vision notes that Agnes always seems to show up exactly when they need her.
It's just a precaution, really. I had a hunch someone might pop over.
Hi, kiddos.
With exactly the item we require.
The boys magically grow up fast, first with help from Agnes, and then they grow up themselves so they can have a dog.
Your father and I don't think you're ready to properly care for an animal until you're at least 10 years old.
But then, sadly, death enters Wanda's sitcom reality after Agatha poisons their dog Sparky.
You can fix anything, Mom. Vic's dead.
Vision realizes that he has the power to release people from Wanda's mind control.
You have to stop her. Stop who? She's in my head.
While Wanda is enraged when Sword sends a vintage Stark drone into her spell Hex. Now she exits the Hex to issue a strong warning to Hayward.
This will be your only warning. Stay out of my home.
And then she tosses the drone down, crackling with her red energy. Wanda and Vision then have a fight.
Before what? I can't remember my life before Westview. I don't know who I am.
And she seems to genuinely feel guilty for what she's doing.
I don't know how any of this started in the first place.
But then Agatha mind controls the real next door neighbor, Ralph, into saying that he's Wanda's brother, back from the dead.
Long lost bro get to squeeze his stinking sister to death or what?
And then we go into the 2000s, Malcolm in the Middle style sitcom where Wanda stretches her abilities to the limit to hold a Halloween carnival. Vision goes to the edges of town where he frees Agatha from mind control.
Your Vision, are you here to help us?
But in actuality, she was faking the mind control just to stir up chaos in Wanda's reality and to drive a wedge between Wanda and Vision. And soon Wanda catches on that Pietro isn't really her brother.
It's not like your dead husband could die twice.
While the Vision tries to exit the Hex, it begins to fall apart.
I hear Dad in my head. He's in trouble.
And then Wanda dramatically expands the Hex to encompass the Sword base and save Vision's life. Afterwards, in a Modern Family-style mockumentary sitcom, Wanda enters a state of depression, while Vision frees Darcy from mind control and Agatha babysits Wanda's kids. But soon, Wanda discovers the secret lair under Agatha's house, where she spots the Darkhold.
The name's Agatha Harkness. Lovely to finally meet you, dear.
Agatha traps Wanda with a spell, and then they go through therapy to work out how the hell Wanda has this kind of power.
Magic on autopilot. What's your secret, sister?
Finally, Agatha determines who Wanda really is.
This is chaos magic, Wanda. That makes you the Scarlet Witch.
Did you say here right now?
So this is where it gets really interesting. The Scarlet Witch is a mythical entity that serves the chaos god Cthulhu, the deity I was talking about earlier. This being is prophesied to destroy the world, and this is also who Wanda saw a vision of when she touched the Mind Stone. And outside the Hex, we see that Hayward has reassembled the Vision, and he used Wanda's residual energy from the drone to repower him. But then this new Vision obeys the orders of Sword and doesn't have the memories of the original Vision. So Wanda and Agatha fight as Agatha starts to drain away Wanda's power.
They take power from the undeserving.
And then Mayonnaise Vision shows up to attack Wanda.
And I was told you were powerful.
Then Real Vision shows up and the team up is on.
This is our home.
Then let's fight for it.
Monica has entered the Hex with some advanced technology, and passing through the Hex 3 different times has given her superpowers to turn transparent and manipulate light. She teams up with Wanda's boys and fake Pietro and heads to the town square.
Listen, boys, your mother and I never really prepared you for this.
But you were born for it.
Outside, Jimmy Woo confronts Hayward, who is trying to cover up that he illegally rebuilt the Vision's body, but Jimmy calls in the FBI. Then Agatha starts to free everybody's minds. The town then confronts Wanda. Wanda opens a rift in the Hex so people can leave, but then Hayward and Sword agents rush inside. The Visions go off to fight in a library where the two of them have a conversation about how both of them, in a way, are the true Vision. White Vision is the Vision's body, while Westview Vision is a part of the Mind Stone that lived within Wanda. So Red Vision shares memories with White Vision, then he flies off to appear in a later sequel called Vision Quest, which we're very excited about. The boys take on Sword, and when Hayward tries to shoot them, they are saved by Monica, who has these powers now, and then Darcy captures Hayward.
Have fun in prison.
Agatha offers Wanda a chance to take away her power, saying that she'll fix the spell and let her stay in Westview forever. Wanda pretends to accept the offer, but actually defeats Agatha by casting runes around Westview, so Agatha can no longer use her powers. Wanda then takes her true form as the Scarlet Witch and traps Agatha within a sitcom fantasy.
Hiya, hun. Say, that's some kind of getup you're wearing.
Now, Wanda accepts that she has to let go of her grief. She and Vision say goodnight to the boys as Wanda slowly withdraws the Hex, giving Vision one last kiss.
We'll say hello again.
God, it's so sad. Now her husband and her kids are gone, and Wanda has to move on with her grief. So she walks through Westview, passing glares at the people that she imprisoned, and Monica tries to make her feel better about this.
They'll never know what you sacrificed for them.
And then, weeks later, we see Wanda in a remote cabin having some tea, while her astral self, or her spirit self, is studying the super evil book The Darkhold, and her children call out to her. So then Wanda becomes obsessed with the idea of meeting her boys again. She uses the Darkhold to dreamwalk through the multiverse. Now, dreamwalking is very dangerous and can cause what's called an incursion.
An incursion occurs when the boundary between two universes erodes and they collide, destroying one or both entirely.
But in order for Wanda to travel the multiverse freely, she has to absorb the powers of a multiverse traveling teenager named America Chavez. So Doctor Strange protects America Chavez, and he figures out that Wanda is behind everything, and then Wanda proceeds to kill dozens of people at Carmartage to get to America. Strange and America flee into the multiverse to Universe 838. Now there, a group of super elites called the Illuminati tell Steven that he is the greatest threat to the multiverse. But then Wanda dreamwalks into herself from this universe, she shows up and destroys the Illuminati.
Wanda, Black Bolt could destroy you with one whisper from his mouth.
Before Strange escapes to a universe that's ending because of his own evil variant. Wanda kidnaps Wong and they go to Wundagore Mountain to a shrine to Chthon, where Wanda discovers that this shrine was actually built for her.
This isn't a tomb. It's a throne.
So Doctor Strange dreamwalks into his variant's dead body and then realizes that America has to be the one to save the day.
When you're gonna kick that witch's ass.
So then America forces Wanda into a reality so her sons can see her being all evil.
Please don't hurt us. Please. I would never hurt you.
This shocks Wanda back to her old self, and she breaks free from the darkness of the Darkhold. She sacrifices her own life to destroy the Darkholds in every single universe, and then collapses the mountain onto herself. However, that Chthon shrine does appear in the Void at the end of time in Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, the Void at the end of time is a kind of nexus point for people and objects throughout the multiverse, so Wanda could still be alive. But Agatha remains trapped in Westview, imprisoned in the role of the nosy neighbor. So guys, that's everything you need to know before watching Agatha all along. Let me know if you're excited about the show down in the comments or at me on Twitter. And if it's your first time here, welcome to the channel. Please subscribe and smash that bell for alerts. For ScreenCrush, I'm Ryan Airy.